This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hello, everybody. It is the After Party live on a Waterfall Wednesday. Sad news in the chat. I don't want to report it, but I'm sad to see it. I'm sad to hear it. Heather, looks like you're dealing with a layoff, and I'm sorry. I can say, let me fix my thing. I can say that I know what that feels like, and I'm just sorry you're going through that. I know that given your incredible intelligence and your amazing record, your education, your resume, your work history, all of that you'll find something wonderful, but it doesn't make it any easier. And what a pain in the butt. So I'm sorry that happened. And yeah, I hope you find something fast that will still allow you to be part of our little chat community, because we love you. We don't want you to go anywhere. But I'm sorry. God, that sucks. That's an understatement. Yeah. Oh, well, we love you. We don't, we don't want bad things to happen to our people. So we're all going to scoop you up today, and we're going to give Heather wonderful compliments. So everyone say something nice about Heather, because she needs our love today. Heather, you're amazing. And somebody's going to be lucky to get you on their team. They really will. So it's just a pain in the butt to find that person, right? But it's going to happen for you. But I'm sorry. But for right now, we're wallowing in the big bummer that it is. Nullifidian, it is wonderful Waterfall Wednesday. Before we get to it, though, because we're going to Peru for waterfalls today, and it's almost like when you look at these pictures, you feel like you're standing right in front of it. You can hear that water rushing. So relaxing. But before we get there, let's take a look at this story about hummingbirds. We all love hummingbirds. So many of us have these hummingbird feeders in the backyard. My dad used to have one right by the window. He'd sit there and he'd watch the hummingbirds come and go. We had one out in our backyard as well. And we'd out by the pool would watch the hummingbirds kind of fight each other, as they do for dominance in this area. They're very territorial. So a lot of people have these hummingbird feeders in the backyard. And it turns out that hummingbirds are evolving because we have these feeders in our backyard. How crazy is this? Let me put up my hummingbird picture. I thought this was a really cool picture of a hummingbird. Here he is. Look at that. Oh, Hummer. Yeah, I know Hummer doesn't mean what I think it means. Look at that hummingbird. So pretty. They're so tiny. And sometimes you get lucky in a quiet moment and you can see them stop, and the wings stop flapping if they feel really comfortable, like no one's around, and you can just watch them for a moment. There's something peaceful about that too. But it turns out that because we have these feeders in our backyards, that hummingbirds are evolving. Their beaks have changed because we're feeding them so much. We are reshaping our California hummingbirds. There's a former UC Berkeley grad student who worked with another team of researchers and published this study last week in the journal Global Change Biology about this adaptation that hummingbirds are making. These are specifically Anna's hummingbirds on the West Coast of the United States. And they've been able to expand their territory, their region, because of hummingbird feeders. They're being fed. Over several generations of Anna's hummingbirds, the birds' beaks have evolved in response to hummingbird feeders. The beaks are longer, and the male beaks are pointier as well. Isn't that fascinating? This whole thing came to fruition because this former UC Berkeley grad student, Nicholas Alexander, saw this article about the earliest hummingbird feeders, and that made him think about seed feeders in the UK that showed that it caused these, I know the name of this bird, great tits, to grow longer beaks relative to the great tits in the Netherlands. And so Alexander was thinking, what if these feeders create changes in the beaks of hummingbirds here because we know the hummingbird feeders are really widespread. So they launched this study. And they look at Anna's hummingbird beak shapes before and after World War II. And that's really when the commercial feeders started to become more prevalent. And they wanted to see if there was any difference before World War II and after. And so they went to the Museum of Vertebrate Zoology, and there were about 400 Anna's hummingbird specimens dating back to 1860. So they did a bunch of measurements on the beaks. They did photography, they did analysis, they did shape analysis. They looked at the beaks in 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. And what they found was after World War II, when the hummingbird feeders showed up, the beaks started to get longer and slimmer. And the beaks of the male hummingbirds also changed. They got sharper and they got pointier because we know the males attack each other at these hummingbird feeders aggressively. I've seen it in my own backyard. Now, they say we can't say for sure that it's the hummingbird feeders that are impacting the evolution of these creatures, but they say natural selection acts on this in so many different directions. Could be cold temperatures, could make the bill smaller because the birds retain more heat that way. But they partnered with other researchers to look at how often bird feeders were sold in California. They looked at old newspaper clippings. They were trying to really make this correlation between the hummingbird feeders and the beak sizes. What they can say is that Anna's hummingbirds have expanded their reach from Southern California all the way to British Columbia and Canada. And they say that here in California, the bird feeders are the best predictor of hummingbird population expansions as well. They're going to keep looking into it, but it's pretty promising that our hummingbird feeders are impacting the evolution of hummingbirds, that humans are having an impact on this species. I'm fascinated by it. Hey, our bird is back. Our little birdie. Remember this guy? Gosh, he's so pretty. This crane, crown crane. Yeah, he's back and he's been found. Let's see. There's a picture of him. Remember him? The crown crane. Such a cool picture of this bird as well. I think I might have a better photo. The original photo was a lot better. This crane went missing from this zoo area. Here he is. Okay, here's the picture we had the other day. It's hard to see in this one the plumage on the top of his head, but check him out. That's what he looks like, his crown crane. And remember, he vanished, and now he's been found. And there he is in all his glory. That's what he looks like. So the crown crane is back from the Cougar Mountain Zoo in Washington. It's an East African crown crane on the loose for days. Spent time hanging out with a group of great blue herons, just kicking it in the wild. The Cougar Mountain Zoo in Washington State is now announcing that their crown crane, named Alice, who left the zoo grounds May 21st and was hanging out in Lake Sammamish State Park, was spotted the following day on another side of the lake, headed toward the boat ramp, hanging around with the blue herons. And then zoo officials got a call Friday night that Alice was spotted at a house near Peregrine Point. And Alice was found in someone's backyard. There she is. Alice in the backyard. That's quite a sight to see that in your backyard. Luckily, the person living at the home knew that Alice had escaped, and they called the zoo, and Alice was gently retrieved almost at midnight. No, yeah, midnight, 11:57 p.m. without incident. She's now back at the zoo under the supervision of their staff and a veterinarian, and she's to be closely monitored after her big journey, and her bonded partner is welcoming her home as well. So Alice is back. I just love that picture of Alice. Very cool. Speaking of animals, though, what about this one? Look at this creature. Beautiful. This is a Nyala antelope who also escaped the zoo very briefly, though. This is in Chicago. The Brookfield Zoo in Chicago confirming that one of its Nyala antelopes got out of the enclosure. It escaped from its primary habitat Tuesday and went exploring in the behind the scenes areas. This antelope never entered public areas, but it's not dangerous to humans anyway. The zoo guests were cleared out of the area near the antelope habitat while zookeepers tried to get this Nyala back into its enclosure. It's Zola and Hamilton and their three calves is what you're looking at. We don't know which one escaped the enclosure, but they blend into their habitats because of their color, and it makes them a little harder to see. But yeah, one of them got out, now safely back. Speaking of wild animals, there he goes. It's a squirrel on the field. This also happened in the Midwest. The squirrel ran right out onto the field during a Detroit Tigers game against the San Francisco Giants. This happened at Comerica Park. I don't know if you guys, if you're Giants fans, saw this one. It happened at the start of the baseball game. There were these FanDuel sports announcers who said, we like to stay on topic here, but squirrel, squirrel. The squirrel was running past the left fielder before making its way into the Tigers bullpen. They said he's in the bullpen with the guys down there. Eventually, the squirrel vanished from sight in the bullpen. It's amazing, one of the anchors said, people think sometimes we don't stay on subject, but literally first pitch, there's a squirrel. Unfortunately, the Tigers went on to beat the Giants. It was 3-1. Looks like the squirrel gave them a little luck. There's video of the squirrel on the field too. I won't show it to you. I'll get dinged for that. Another bird story, though. Look at this beautiful bird and incredibly intelligent. This is a young Cooper's hawk that learned to use a crosswalk signal to launch surprise attacks on other birds. Yep. This researcher watched this bird repeatedly sneak behind a row of cars to ambush its unsuspecting prey. The researcher was driving his daughter to school one day and saw this bird out of the corner of his eye, saw this Cooper's hawk dart out of a tree, soar low to the ground along a line of cars, and then dive into a front yard nearby. And this researcher, Vladimir Dinets, specializes in animal behavior and intelligence. So he right away was like, what is going on here? So he went back, watched this whole thing play out a couple days later, and realized that this might be scientifically relevant. So he decided to investigate further and found that it seemed like the bird was understanding that whenever a human pushed the pedestrian crossing signal, a long line of cars would back up down the street. And so when that happened, this Cooper's hawk used the vehicles as cover to launch a sneak attack on a group of unsuspecting birds gathered in a nearby home's front yard. This is so fascinating that Dinets published a study in the journal Frontiers in Ethology. He said, when I figured out what was going on, I was really impressed. Didn't expect that. On the other hand, every time I study some animal species, it proves to be smarter than I expected. He spent 12 hours observing this hawk over the course of 18 weekday mornings in this neighborhood in New Jersey. And he said he watched as this bird tried 6 attacks on its prey. Because of where this man was positioned, he couldn't see how many of the hunts were successful, but at least on one occasion, he saw the hawk fly away with a sparrow in its talons. On another, he saw the hawk eating a mourning dove on the ground. And the first 2 attacks, he saw what was happening. First, someone would push the crossing signal, which would activate a loud rhythmic clicking sound. So if for people that have blindness, right, would let them know it's safe to cross the street. But the noise also tipped off the bird, the hawk, which would then fly into a tree, perch low on a branch, and watch. And as the cars began stopping behind the crosswalk, the hawk just waited. And once the line got long enough, about 10 cars, the bird swooped down, flying just a few feet above the sidewalk along the line of vehicles. And then once it got to this certain house, it would cut hard, 90-degree turn, veer into the yard across the street while birds were feeding on the ground. Boom, get your bird. This house is particular because the family likes to eat outdoors. So they leave some crumbs behind on the ground, and that attracted birds like sparrows and doves and starlings. And of course, the Cooper's hawk that then is attracted to those birds. It's like the Wild West playing out in their front yard. The hawk, writes Dinetz, understood the connection between the pedestrian crossing sound and the eventual line of cars and the length of it as well. That the bird also had to have good mental maps of this place because when the car queue reached its tree, then the raptor could no longer see the place where its prey was and had to get there by memory. He was impressed by the bird's ability to master a human environment for its own benefit. The ambush tactics, even more impressive given the hawk's likely unfamiliarity with this neighborhood. They say Cooper's hawks rarely nest in cities in the area, but they're common visitors in the wintertime. So the bird was probably a migrant having moved to the city just a few weeks earlier, and already it figured out how to use the traffic signals and the traffic patterns to its own advantage. This bird learned this behavior at a young age, at a time when other Cooper's hawks aren't good at even hunting yet. So interesting. What a smarty. You can see almost see it in his eyes. Maybe I'm putting some more onto the eyes than should be there, but it looks like a smart bird, doesn't it? Yeah. And they say, you know what? The city environment is difficult for birds like this because they have to avoid windows and cars and utility wires and all kinds of dangers while they're hunting and looking for something to eat every day. So, these Cooper's hawks, very, very smart. And you never know what you're touching off when you push the button to cross the street. This story I thought was really fascinating. Obviously about knee pain, right? A lot of us have knee pain. I twisted my knee the other day and I've been hobbling up and down my hallway. This story is about this nerve connection that we may have between our ear and our knees. The study is exploring the possibility of knee pain relief through the ear. It's all about the vagus nerve, which, according to the study published in Osteoarthritis and Cartilage Open, we all will subscribe to that one. The vagus nerve plays an important role in parasympathetic nervous systems, which controls the body's ability to rest and digest. And it's countered by the sympathetic nervous system, which manages our fight or flight response. The study says the current evidence suggests that people with osteoarthritis knee pain have an imbalance of sympathetic versus parasympathetic activity in their body. And that is what can cause the pain. And so by stimulating the vagus nerve, they thought that maybe this treatment could rectify this imbalance. The trial was small scale, 30 patients only with knee pain. They were treated with this nerve stimulation, the vagus nerve stimulation device, for an hour. The device rests on the ear and sent electrical pulses to the branch of the vagus nerve that runs through the ear. This device is already approved by the FDA to treat conditions like epilepsy, depression, and other things. Of the 30 participants, 11 felt noticeable improvement in their knee pain after this treatment. Through the ear. The findings, they say, are solid enough to warrant a larger clinical trial in which some people will get the vagal nerve treatment, other people will get a placebo so they can figure out. But it's an innovative step in finding a treatment that could help reduce knee pain. By the way, the study done at the University of Texas at El Paso by lead researcher Kosaku Aogi, who's an assistant professor of physical therapy. So, treating knee pain through the same nerve that runs through the body, and they catch it at your ear, and it makes your knee feel better. They say future large scale studies may have the potential to improve treatment options available for knee osteoarthritis. And that really affects so many people. So if they could make your knee feel better by treating your ear nerve, sure, why not? How about this one? Look at this. What is this contraption? Apparently makes gasoline out of thin air. It's called an aircella, and it acts like a mini direct air capture facility. It sucks up carbon dioxide, then synthesizes it into real usable gasoline for cars. No joke. Wild. This is pretty ambitious, presented by New York-based fuel startup Aircella. Earlier this month, the company announced it had created the world's first functional machine capable of generating real usable car gasoline directly from the air. Their device is about as big as a refrigerator, a commercial refrigerator, so it's not tiny, but it combines direct air capture, DAC, direct air capture with on-site fuel synthesis to create gasoline using just air, water, and renewable energy, no fossil fuels required. The product that they then end up with can be poured directly into the tank of any standard gas-powered car. They did a demo even. Made the gas directly from air in front of a live New York audience. I Wow. They said, "We didn't build a prototype, we built a working machine. We want people to walk away knowing this is not too good to be true. It actually works." So, the in the air, the carbon, right? Carbon dioxide that has come from smokestacks or fossil fuel power plants or whatever has put it up into the air is pulled directly from the atmosphere, and then it's taken. So this magical process happens, and voila, here we get the gas. Right now, Europe has more than a dozen direct air capture facilities in operation. The US government is investing in this type of technology. There are other chemicals working on this type of thing as well. Aircella claims its device captures carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere and converts it into gas. And what they get out of it does not have any sulfur, ethanol, or heavy metals inside of it either. So it actually could be better to burn, perhaps. Yeah. This could be the future. Can you imagine? I mean, if we don't go to electric vehicles, all of us, you see everyone having one of these things in their garage or in their backyard or in, wherever it is, and you just have your gas right on site. In theory, they say, someone could install one of these units outside their home and use it to refuel their vehicle before they head out for the day. Drivers could potentially reduce their environmental impact without needing to change their daily habits either. So, look at that. That's pretty cool. Oh, thank you. I just got a salad delivered. I appreciate that. They'd like to start manufacturing the machine by the fall, with an interest in targeting a mix of residential, commercial, and industrial customers. I would say yes to this. This contraption, if it helps the environment and pulls carbon right out of thin air, what magic is this? Yes, please. Okay, so this next story I have for you. Uh, you know how I love a good robot story. Someone complained that I had robots on too much, but come on. This one is about the world's first humanoid boxing match. These Unitree G1s fought in China for the title of the Iron Fist King. Come on, Heather, if this doesn't put you in a better mood, I don't know what will. They've made the robots fight. Oh, good lord. This world. It happened over the weekend. This Chinese robotics maker Unitree live streamed what they say is the world's first boxing match between humanoid robots. They called it Unitree Iron Fist King Awakening, and it was a tournament style face off between four of Unitree's G1 robots. They're 4.3 feet tall. So what, like the size of a 10-year-old, maybe? They were remotely controlled by human engineers. Can you imagine that them yelling at each other across the boxing ring? There were some pre-programmed actions in there as well, though. They say one of the most interesting moments occurred during a semi-final match between a pink helmeted robot called Silk Artisan and its black helmeted opponent, AI Strategist. During a tense third round, Silk Artisan tried to recover from an aggressive kick to the shin, but stumbled to the floor, eventually performing a full-on accidental split. And then AI Strategist stepped forward its fallen opponent and began gesticulating wildly with its arms in a boastful, braggadocious manner. Victory seemed imminent, with the human referee shouting, 1, 2, 3. But then the gloating robot tripped over its opponent's head and fell face first to the ground. Both robots sprawled on the floor. It looked like the match would end in a humiliating draw. And then the black helmeted robot rose to its feet and emerged victorious. Okay, let's watch. Right? Don't we have to watch? I think we do. Okay, let me take the picture down so that I can show you the video. Here it is. Uh-oh. Oh, wait. Let me get it right. Okay, here it is.
打中钻机小将胸口，再来一下，这回要打中了硬肋啊！现在咱还真不能说软肋。
There's the splits.
1, 2, 3，加油！
Oh no!
嚯，这边已经变成格斗了，这不是纯的拳击了。
接下来准备罗子手，
对，
比赛结束。
哇 ，KO 了，对，
This is what the world has come to, my people. Here we go. That's entertaining. I find that's entertaining. The robot competition. Let me see who won. The Iron Fist robot. It looks like, let me put this picture back up again because I'm amused. It looks like the robot that won. Oh, did I have a robot winner? Somebody had to be the Iron Fist, right? The results of the boxing match. Yeah. Nearly an hour and 40 minutes. I don't know who won. There's more than one video on this page, though. They do talk about how humans have a long history of forcing robots to fight, which you've seen it in even high school competitions, right? The robot fights. They talk about how they prepare them for battle, how they trained with human coaches. Yeah. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by it, but they do have a new Iron Fist King. I'm just not sure who the Iron Fist King was. Perhaps it's AI Strategist. Maybe that's the whole point of the video. But there you go. Okay. Moving on. Remember we talked about this? This is a update on this story of this chess grandmaster, Magnus Carlsen. And he was playing versus the world. 143,000 people teamed up to basically crowd play him It took 46 days and 32 moves, and it ended in a draw between Magnus Carlsen and the world. He is a Swedish grandmaster, the youngest person to ever top the International Chess Federation. He is the real deal. And so he started this game May 20th called Magnus versus the World. And people could discuss, debate, and ultimately vote on each move made against the grandmaster. 32 moves, 143,000 participants involved in this decision making, and it ultimately ended on day 46 after a threefold repetition of pieces during a queen endgame. Carlsen played white, the world represented the black side of the board. Each earned a half point as per official match rules. Carlsen said, overall, the world has played a very, very sound chess. Kind from the start, maybe not going for the most enterprising options, but keeping it in the vein of normal chess. Not always the best strategy, but it seemed like it worked fine this time. More than 508,000 votes were cast and 30,000 forum posts made during this game that lasted 6 weeks. One move every 24 hours. The public also was able to get advice from a panel of 5 of the sport's top players, including another world grandmaster. They say that it wasn't a standard game of chess. Instead of both sides playing by the rules of Chess 960, which are rules developed by Bobby Fischer, it was a way to introduce more variety and complexity into this game. So, they did use Chess 960, rather. Those are the rules they played by. And the number of participants doubled this year from last year's event, which was Vichy versus the world. In that case, though, Vichy Anand managed to get a checkmate after 29 days of play. So, that's pretty cool. Crowd game. All right, here's a great use of technology and a fast-thinking guy. This man was out at the coast who, and I don't necessarily love the reason for him being there. He's a shark fisherman, but okay. So he's arrived at the beach to do his fishing, and his name is Andrew. And he was down at Pensacola Beach after he got off work. But he says 10 minutes after he got to the beach, he was asked by this girl, does anyone swim? Do you swim? I have a friend who was just pulled out by the riptides and she needs help. This girl, this girl's friend, was pushed out to sea in this area where the sandbar or reef can exacerbate the force dragging people through this gap in this area. This rip current, not a rip tide or an undertow, which actually pull you downward. This one pulls you out. And so this situation was getting more serious by the moment because they could see her struggling. So this guy had a drone with him, and he comes up with this idea that he's going to attach a life preserver to the drone and get it out to this girl who's struggling to stay afloat. The first time he said he was trying to pilot this drone out toward this drowning girl, strong winds made it difficult. It was a terrible miss. He said he released too early. It was too windy and it wasn't close at all. And at this point, the girl had been struggling against the current for about 5 minutes. And he only had that single flotation device left nearby to try again. So there was one more to try. Lost the first one, now has a second one, and this is all he's got. So he said it's the last opportunity that he was going to have. So adjusting for wind, he tries again. And this time, the drop of the flotation device was a lot more accurate. The teenager was able to grab the life preserver and hang on for another few minutes until the emergency responders were able to get there. The emergency crew said if it wasn't for that second drop, she probably wouldn't have made it. No serious injuries. She was able to go home. But her dad came out and talked to this guy who basically saved his daughter's life. He said he said the dad talked to me for 5 minutes, called me his guardian angel, and thanked me. He said it was really pretty crazy. In case this happens to you and you don't have anyone with a drone and a quick thinking mind like this, the experts say the best bet is to resist panicking or fighting against the water. Instead, they recommend trying to swim across the current parallel to the shore because rip currents usually aren't very wide. So it's often possible to paddle out of the pull that way. Another option they say may be to allow the current to pull you past the breaking waves, and then the rip currents might dissipate from there, and then you can start swimming to shore or tread while you wait for the emergency crews to get there for you. Some ideas, but what an amazing thought to use the drone in that way. All right, are you ready for it? Because I'm ready for it. Here it is. It is Waterfall Wednesday. And today we are headed to Peru to check out the top waterfalls to visit while you are in Peru. And the first one is Catarata de Gocta. It wasn't even that hard to say. And here is a picture of it. Yep, Catarata Gocta. It's high up. You can see it there. First level and then goes down, and then second level, like a double waterfall. Incredible. It's about an hour's drive to Cocochimba, where the base of the lower fall begins, and an incredible thing to see. Catarata de Gocta. An experience they say you cannot stop living. The walk through the San Pablo area is clean, the villagers friendly, one of the most impressive, incredible waterfalls in the world. It's a 3-hour walk, and the landscapes are absolutely amazing. Catarata de Gocta. Number 2, I absolutely cannot pronounce. Las Cataratas de Ahuashiyacu. The best I'm going to be able to do. It's pretty incredible though, right? You can feel the mist, can't you? And you hear the waterfall rushing down that mountain. Yeah, that's really cool. Beautiful. I feel like I'm going to see a gorilla at any moment, just kind of swinging on through. How beautiful is that? Again, this is the second best waterfall to see in Peru, Las Cataratas de Ahuashiyacu. Sorry about the the trouncing of the name there. They say it's a beautiful experience in nature. It's a beautiful waterfall. A short trip, you can actually take a dip in the fall of the waterfall if you're really careful. I don't know about that, but there's a lot of people that seem to be able to get there in an easy fashion. So the third one is El Velo de la Novia, and it's also pretty special. I have a couple pictures of this one. El Velo de la Novia. This one's cool too. This one, you have to cross one hanging bridge to get to this waterfall. You can swim here if you would like to, where the waterfall meets this lagoon down below. The people that have gone there say we would do it again. It's a beautiful place, recommended place to enjoy nature, and nearby there are restaurants and parking, so seems to be pretty easy to get to. El Velo de la Novia. All right, the next one. Number 4, best waterfall in Peru. Catarata Pucayaquillo. Pucayaquillo. This one's amazing. You can hear it if you look at the picture. Look at that. As the water rushes down the stones. So pretty. That's the 4th best waterfall in Peru. Here's the 5th. This one looks like it has a cave behind it, doesn't it? Cascadas de Pishuarayaku. I'm not doing well with the language. Very beautiful, good to swim in. Hot springs near the cascadas are amazing. And the water is nice and cool in this area. And they say that it's a good place to swim, especially if you're in the water for a while. It's very refreshing. And again, it almost looks like there's a cave behind there. There's some rickety stairs to climb in this area as you get up to the bridge, though. So you'd have to use caution, but that waterfall is incredible. All right. Where are we? At the 6th best waterfall in Peru, Catarata Pero Iniac. With views of the valley and the mountains so pristine and untouched, this waterfall becomes a bonus to anyone who hikes here. Can you imagine hiking and coming across that? So pretty. Doesn't look like there's much of a pool at the bottom, but the waterfall looks pretty strong. And there you go. Those are indeed the waterfalls of Peru. And that is Waterfall Wednesday. I hope it was relaxing. It was relaxing to me. I don't know. I think so. Yeah. There's supposed to be 15 best waterfalls, but the ones toward the end of the list, yeah. I do have this one. This was number 11. I wasn't going to do it, but I'll show you. I did put the picture in. It's called the Yumbia waterfall. And Yumbia is kind of cool. Yumbia looks tall, really tall. Here's a picture of Yumbia. Right? That's pretty tall. I have another picture of Yumbia. I think I did too. Yeah. Yumbia. Here's a close-up. So that's what it looks like from far away. And here's what it looks like up close. It's pretty. It's a pretty waterfall. I'll take it. I like it. The Yumbia Falls. That's beautiful. Something so relaxing about it. All right. We've come to a close. I don't want to come to a close, and yet we have. I would like to thank some folks, though, that have come through on PayPal and are consistently helping this show continue. Wes came in today with $5, as often he does. And Wes, this is so kind and so nice, and I really wouldn't be able to do it without you. So thank you, thank you. Also, Kathleen G with $10 through a recurring monthly PayPal contribution. Wes on the 27th with another 5. Lee S with 30. Vivian T with 5. Thank you, you guys. I really appreciate the help to keep the crowd-funded show going. You guys have no idea how much it means. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here. Phineas says, did you say put on your clothes? What clothes? Hey, if you want to watch the show in all various states of dress, have at it. I'm not going to judge. Are you talking about me, or are you talking about the faces in the waterfall? I don't know. Yeah, it is really tall. Yumbia. It was Yumbilla. I thought it was the 2 L's were a Y, right? Yumbia is the name of that waterfall. Yeah. Ivy says, I need to go to Peru. Isn't that where Machu Picchu is? I don't think so. Let me check where Machu Picchu is located. It is, in the Peruvian Andes. It is in the eastern Cordillera of southern Peru on a mountain ridge, and it's often referred to as the lost city of the Incas. Yeah, I guess it's in the Peruvian Andes. Good knowledge. So yeah, you can go to to Machu Picchu, and then you can go on a tour of waterfalls. Great vacation, right? Absolutely. All right. Let's end the show. And tomorrow I will tell you that on the Mark Thompson show, which starts at 11 a.m., we have David Katz coming through at around noon. That's going to be really great. Also, the After Party Live tomorrow features Trivia Thursday. So that's going to be fun. And if you have any suggestions, you can always message me. That is Kim@theafterparty.live. Kim@theafterparty.live. What do you want? Want a theme for Trivia Thursday? Send me a message. We'll get it taken care of. If it's good, I'll use it. You know I will. Um, Also, I'll always credit you for stories that you have sent me if I don't already have the story in other sources. And if I see it and you're like, you've turned me on to it, I'm going to credit you. So you can always send me stories, ideas, what have you. Waterfalls, travel destinations, it's all good. And then tomorrow at 5 p.m., the Nikki Maduro show. 5 p.m., not today, 5 p.m. tomorrow. I should say, take the today out. 5 p.m. Thursday evening, cocktails, mocktails, and politics. So I do hope you'll join us for that as well. Those are all the sister shows. All right. Have a great rest of your day and make it the very best you can. I'll see you right back here on the YouTube tomorrow. For now, bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Okay. You go do it. You do your thing, Phineas. Do your thing. Yeah, you guys want to do pictures tomorrow? Cool. Email me at Kim@theafterparty.live. We'll get it done. It's nice to have you aboard, Ivy. Woo! Cute picture. I will do it. Happy birthday, Mo son. Ooh. Okay. So noted. Happy birthday, Jim. Tomorrow I'll have to play the birthday song for you.